Hey everyone, welcome back to Ontario Gardening. Today we are going to show you how to make poultry stock. So it's very simple. You're just going to take the carcass of a bird, either chicken or turkey. We're using our Christmas turkey, and we're going to simmer it for 6 to 8 hours and make that broth or that stock. So all you need for this is your bird, and you're going to strip as much meat as you can off of the bones. It's okay if there's still some on there, that's going to add more flavor. You're going to need the pot or the medium that you're going to cook in. So I say that because you can do it in a stock pot with water, you could do it in a crock pot on low, you could do it in a roasting pan in the oven on low. However you choose to do it, whatever tools that you have is what you're going to use in order to simmer it. The other thing you're going to need for this recipe is you're going to need a large bowl and a strainer so that when the broth is done, of course, we're going to strain out the liquid into a big bowl. And then you're going to need a way to store it. So you can put it into mason jars and pressure can it. I'm not going to do that. I am going to freeze mine. And what I did is I went to my local Dollar Tree and I got these 4-cup containers with lids, and this way I can put it in the freezer. And the reason I chose the 4-cup is because a lot of the times I use my stock to make soups or stews, and it calls for a whole container or box of your chicken stock, which is how you buy it, in 4 cups from the store. So I figured store it in a 4-cup container. It's so much better and easier storage in the freezer than to have, say, like a whole bunch of the little containers in there. So however you decide to store it, that's completely up to you. The optional thing for this recipe is you can do different types of fresh herbs, so oregano, sage, thyme, if you want to throw those in the water, and some carrots and some celery, also onion. So if you wanted to take a carrot or two and chop them up into bigger sizes, same with the celery stalk, a stalk or two in bigger sizes, those are easier to strain out. I just have on hand these chopped up ones because they're already pre-chopped and in my freezer from my garden. So we don't buy vegetables in the winter time. So yeah, I would definitely recommend keeping them in bigger chunks because it's easier, but that's what I have on hand. So just to recap, because I did a lot of talking there, the easiest way to know what you need for this recipe is your carcass, the thing you want to cook it in, the strainer to get it, the thing you want to store it in, and the additional additions to the stock. So here is how to put it together. Super simple. We are going to add our carcass to whatever it is you're cooking it in, the roasting pan, the pot, whatever. So I'm doing this in my pot here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those bones and the meat into that pot. Okay, so I've got my turkey bones inside of my pot, and now we're going to fill it with water. And the rule of thumb is to fill it up just so it's just maybe an inch above your bones, and to make sure all of the meat and bones are submerged into that water. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so it's at this point that you are going to add any of your fresh herbs or your your onions, carrots, and celery if you're putting them in there. It will have just enough flavor without those additions, but if you want a little extra, then go for it. Okay, now it's that simple. Now, these will work with frozen bones, I forgot to mention. So if you threw that carcass in the freezer and you're just getting to it, after Christmas, that works too. But now, whatever medium it's in, whether it's in a pot, in the stove, in a roasting pan, in a crock pot, we're going to put the lid on and we're going to put it on low and have it simmer for about 6 to 8 hours. So you want to check on it every couple hours just to make sure that it's still simmering. But you can walk away at this point, leave it for that 6 to 8 hours to let the water take all the nutrients and everything out of this bird, and then we can store it up. So I will see you in about 6 to 8 hours and show you what it looks like and how we store it. Okay, so it's been about 8 hours. I have pulled my stock off of the simmer, off of the heat completely actually, and just put it to the side. Now I'm going to let it cool for a little bit before I touch this because this is really hot on mine. And what I think I'm going to do is I have a pretty big strainer, so really it would probably catch the entire carcass, but I'm going to take, to make life easier, and if this is easier for you guys as well, take a pair of tongs and lift out the big pieces as much as you can and get as many of those out as you can safely, because everything is going to be boiling hot. And get those pieces out first before you strain it, because it'll make it just a little bit easier on you when you're lifting this to strain it. Not so many big chunks and pieces, if that makes sense. So let this cool for a little bit, and then we're going to strain it. Okay, so at this point I used just a spoon, and I have taken out most of the big pieces that I can, just to make it a little bit easier when putting this through the strainer. So at this point I am going to strain all of my liquid through here and make sure I got most of the bones out. And if I don't get the bones out, I will strain it one more time just for good measure. You want to make sure there's no slivers or anything in your broth, so that when you're drinking it or using it for soups and stuff, nobody's choking. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. So as you can see, I used my strainer, got all the rest of the little bits out, and now we have got our broth just in here. So I'm going to, just for extra measure, as I ladle this into these jars, I've just got another little strainer here, just to double strain it, I guess, just to make sure. But other than that, once we get these all into their little containers, I'll show you what it looks like. It's super easy, and then we will throw these ones in the freezer. Okay, and I've got it all in the containers now. Now they're ready for the freezer. So that's simple and easy. I know the video is a little bit long for something so simple and easy. I just really wanted to show you. But yeah, all you need is, really at the end of the day, water and turkey carcass. It's a beautiful color. Can't wait to use this in some soups and stews and gravies. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.